Hello and welcome. My name is JX, and this is a timely review of The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. Spoilers ahead. So before I begin talking about this game, I am well aware that the previous version of this game included a soundtrack and a Wii remote. The version of this game only includes the game itself, with the controllers and fast travel amiibo sold separately. I will not be focusing on these things during my review. Now, let's get this review started. The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword is an interesting game, and one with a lot of firsts. First to use motion controls, first in the timeline, etc. So, let's first talk about the controls. I'm not going to sidestep the issue. I can understand how some just could not get used to these controls. Even with buttons only mode, the controls ranged from good to unusable at certain moments. Tantalus and Demise being two examples of bosses I got extremely frustrated by because of the overuse of the Skyward Strike, which seemed to trigger haphazardly upon use. The buttons only controls were particularly awful for the second time you fight Girahim, just because of the way he catches your sword. I had to wait till I could dock my Switch in order to use two separate Joy-Cons. Riding the Loftwing can also be unbearable. Usually just circling where you want to go until you build up enough speed to land is just bad. I wish there was a way to fast travel. Too bad there's no way to do that. My preferred playstyle was the motion controls with two Joy-Cons. Next up is the story. The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword offers an extremely compelling story. Probably the most compelling since Ocarina of Time. Seeing how the legend began was thrilling to say the least. I have not the slightest idea of what was coming next. It was gratifying to see some of the questions I had about the origin of the hero finally answered. If I had to nitpick, I really wish they would have at least shown the forming of Hyrule, or the naming of Elden Mountain as Death Mountain. But really, the story was top-notch. Lastly, I would like to talk about gameplay. So with controls and story out of the way, how does it feel to play the game? It feels amazing as always. There were only a couple times I had to Google the answer. Like, that little crack in the Earth Temple that you had to bomb. Come on, you really didn't expect me to be this smart, did you? But in all seriousness, the game's design is very, very good. Now, an exceptional part of the game's design was the desert area of Lanayru. In most other Zelda games, this would be an ocean region full of Zora or other water creatures. Interestingly enough, this is actually a mine in this game, of which some sort of apocalypse happened, calling for the need of one of the most unique gameplay mechanics in Zelda, the Time Shift Stones. These stones allow you to view what the area looked like in times long since past, and is, without a doubt, my favorite region in the game. So, what do I give The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword? I give it a solid 9 out of 10, taking away some points for the controls, and some of the bosses that felt uninspired. That makes it rank number 3 in the 3D Zelda space in my opinion, just above Wind Waker and below Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time. What did you think of this game? Will you be buying it? Let me know in the comments below.